Hello, my friends. Today we are discussing everything metabolism, fat loss for women over 40. And I know this is a very hot topic. You hear so much information in regards to how to approach nutrition, what to do for exercise. There are benefits to fasting, and then you have other people telling you that fasting is absolutely the wrong thing to do if you're over 40. You have people saying to just drink coffee before your workout, and then you have others saying that's disruptive to cortisol. And so today I want to go through everything from the perspective of you're already doing everything you need to do correctly in regards to eating enough food. So you're eating enough calories to fuel your body for your BMR, your TDEE, so your basal metabolic rate, what your body needs without doing any movement, any activity. And then your TDEE is your total daily energy expenditure. This is going to be what your body needs to function, plus what it needs to function for all the activity. You're breathing, you're thinking, you're moving day to day in your daily tasks, your exercise, all of that. So we definitely want to make sure that we're fueling properly and we're eating the correct macros. So let's say that we are doing everything correctly in terms of nutrition, in terms of your exercise, and you still feel stuck. Okay. So I am going to go through the checklist in order of importance. So this is for any of you who know for a fact you are hitting your macros, your calories, your exercise in the manner you should for the hormonal state you're in at the age you're at. And this is according to what you know you've done in the past, because everything we start doing should be relative to what we have done leading up to this point and moving forward. Okay. So if you are still unsure, before I dive into all those specifics, if you are still unsure that you are eating enough and you're not eating too much, and you don't know if you are eating the right macros, and you still don't know about the exercise portion, we are doing a metabolic reset starting April 1st, and I will put information below for that. But we also do offer customized consults as well as programming. So that is something I do offer in the case you are looking for customization. Okay. Wanted to say that right off the bat. You can drop reset below. I will send you information. However, you'll be able to find information below. Okay, so let's dive into it. I have my list pulled up here. I didn't want to screen share because I wasn't sure, honestly, how this all worked here on YouTube World for live stream. But number one, stress physiology. Okay, so again, this is if you are hitting everything correctly and things still are not moving. The number one thing I see, women are maxed out on stress. And for whatever reason, we want to just overlook that piece of the puzzle, and we want to go straight for calories, macros, tell me what to do, tell me what to eat, how much of this, how much of that. However, if our central nervous system is dysregulated, meaning we're constantly struggling with stressors, whether it is stressors we realize are stressing us out, it could be good stress, and you're like constantly, you're excited, you're training for this and you're doing that, and it could be good things, but you could be juggling the world between you, your duties at home to keep the house afloat, your children, your husband, your financials. You've got your body you're trying to take care of, your mind you're trying to take care of, your children, everything with what's going on in their world you're trying to take care of. And so if cortisol is not regulated properly, this is going to be an uphill climb. Okay. So we need to do the best we can do to manage our stress. I know we can't always remove it, but managing stress. Okay. Now, when we have thyroid conditions that are underlying, this is another one that's at the very top of the list. Sometimes stress can induce this, but the conversion of our T4 to T3, that downshift conversion is not going to be helpful for fat burning. I've seen it so many times with the women I work with. They are doing everything right. And the second that I suggest them to get lab work, they find out that this is something that is just not where it should be. And the second that they get that situated, everything starts moving. Okay. So, another thing, insulin sensitivity versus resistance. I preach about this all the time. You can still be hitting your macros, hitting your calories. However, if you are, let's say, saving up those carbohydrates until later in the day, or maybe you start your day off with just a big bowl of oatmeal and you like your big banana and you like your big, apple, whatever it is, and you're carbo loading in the morning, and then you don't move your body and exercise until the afternoon, and then you've got this blood sugar spike, and then you have this drop, and that, God forbid, happens right before you go to bed. And then that's just a vicious cycle for blood sugar. So just trust and believe that if you are not regulating that blood sugar, insulin is going to be a problem. And as we get older, as we start losing muscle mass, as we start losing estrogen, it's that much more difficult to manage healthy blood sugar. So insulin sensitivity is definitely up there for women over 40. Just, it's a part of nature. Okay. We have a drive to fat storage, central fat storage. So again, we tend to accumulate more fat to our abdomen. So again, the chronic cortisol load is at the top of the list, and drinking caffeine is just going to exacerbate that. Doing high intensity exercise is just going to exacerbate that. If you are doing fasting every single day, or even, for a lengthy amount of time, a few times a day, that is going to make this problem even worse. So again, all these concepts, we are going into the nitty gritty within the metabolic reset to better understand what is going to be helpful for you and your metabolism, fat burning, etc., long term, and what is hindering. Because I am reading the intake form of many of the women who have signed up for the challenge. And I can already see at least half of these women, I can see exactly why they're struggling. So it makes me very excited to get this April challenge started. And so we can really reverse what they're doing. Okay. So the second big thing, if you feel that you are doing all the things right, but you're still struggling, under recovery. Okay. So not necessarily under eating, but you are training 5 to 7 days a week, and you're going from training to taking a walk outside, walking the dog, and then you're getting in the car, and then you're taking the kids here, there, everywhere. And then you're having to stop, and you've meal prepped. So you're eating on the go, and you're doing all these things, and you never have a recovery day. You never have moments of silence. You never have that off period of time. Okay. So remember, when we're exercising, we are breaking down our muscle. We are breaking down the body. We need time to replenish, to build. And if we're not giving ourselves enough of this time, physically and mentally, we are going to really make this very much an uphill climb if we want to burn fat, belly fat, especially. Okay. So also, when it comes to training, if you're constantly trying to be heavier, lift heavier, and you're constantly in that uphill progressive overload, it has to be like this every single day, you're going to either get injured, or again, your body is not going to thrive when it comes to that balance of building lean muscle mass and losing the fat mass you want. Okay. So, and especially if you're not sleeping properly every single night, again, that's going to be an uphill climb. So you'll see this in elevated stress hormones. You're going to see inflammation at a rise if you're looking at your inflammatory markers on your labs. So a lot of different pieces of the puzzle there. And water retention, masking, fat loss is another. So number 3, moving on to our list, muscle mass is lower than you think. So I think a lot of times as we are lifting, and I see it because I work with women of all shapes and sizes. I have been for now 24 years, and I love what I do because I get to see so much progress in such a timely fashion. However, this is not going to be something to where you should switch up your calories and macros every single month, because muscle mass does not accumulate that fast. And it's interesting because when someone comes into the program, they want to know, where should my calories be? Where should my macros be? And then I tell them, and then a few weeks later, they already want a new meal plan and they want their macros and calories adjusted. That, my friends, is the reason why you are going up, down, all around, because we do not have to constantly be adjusting things with anything we're doing. Exercise, nutrition, macros, calories, you do not change your body that quickly. So you need to stay the course and just understand that you're not moving slower than others. You are not doing anything wrong if it feels like it's taking forever to build muscle mass. You are doing it in the proper manner. It's just you're not taking extras to make it so you're just She-Ra in the gym and you can lift all that you can lift and without getting injured. So just understand that a lot of people are misjudging how much muscle they have. And if someone comes into my program and they tell me how much exercise and they say, I do 5 days a week of lifting for 60 minutes, I don't know if I do know information about their muscle mass if they don't have a test to confirm that percentage or that amount of muscle mass on their body. So when I'm calculating their TDEE, there's always going to be wiggle room there. There's always going to be a little bit of misinterpretation or miscalculation, because you don't ever truly know exactly how many calories you burn in a day. You don't know exactly how much muscle mass you have on your body to make it so you should be eating this amount of protein versus this amount of protein. So that's why you got to just view it as everything being relative to what you were doing prior to what you are currently doing, instead of obsessing over being exact to every single nitty-gritty detail. It's just never going to be the case unless you are getting your DEXA scan every single week and you are on it, which is just ridiculous in my opinion. So I think that a lot of times our TDEE is lower than what we calculate because, again, someone in the gym saying they work out 60 minutes and they're lifting weights is going to be entirely different than when I'm in there for 60 minutes lifting weights. Now, I will tell you, most of my weightlifting workouts are no longer than 45 minutes. Friends, they are 30 to 45 minutes most days. If I'm doing a lower body and I really want to kick some butt and I'm feeling good, it might be 60 minutes, but typically it's 30 to 45 minutes. Okay. But even then, when I go into the gym versus the power lifter of all power lifters, we're doing much different movements and one of us is taking longer rest than the other and vice versa. So glucose disposal is weaker when, again, this is all relative to the amount of muscle mass you have, your genetics. And I think that some of us, again, are just thinking that we have much more because maybe we've been lifting for 20 years. However, we've not pushed it to the point where we have the built muscle that is going to allow us to maintain healthy blood sugar, that's going to allow us to eat more calories and fuel our body much more than someone who has about 10 to 20 pounds less of muscle mass. Okay. So same thing, fat oxidation capacity drops if we don't have as much of that lean muscle mass. Okay. So again, the more muscle you have, the more fat burning optimization you have. So we need to stop focusing on calories in versus calories out, because this muscle is what is fueling your fat loss. Believe it or not, you will reach a point if you are taking the number approach. And by numbers, I mean the calories and the macros. If you are taking that approach and you think that this lifestyle is going to serve you for the long run, my friend, there will be a stopping point when you realize, well, shit, I need to start putting on some muscle. And that's what it is. So let's see. Number 4, calorie tracking inaccuracy. Now, I know that we all have great intentions, but I do not track because of this reason. And also because I think I'd go down the rabbit hole and it just is not good for my mindset. But when people are tracking and you're not, if you're scooping and you've got a little excess of that peanut butter over right there, that could be an additional 50 calories. And if you're doing that 2 times for 2 tablespoons, there's 100 calories. And then if you're doing a little slab of butter, then, oh, well, this looks like a tablespoon, but really it might be 2. So there's 200 extra calories. So it can add up quickly that you are not calculating it to the T's, licks, tastes, restaurant meals. That's why I tell people, if you want the easiest means of cutting calories and fat loss optimized, and you eat out a lot, the one thing you got to do is just eat at home, and it's going to make your life a lot easier. Okay, hormonal shifts affecting energy output. So estrogen decline, as I spoke about, it's going to make it that much more difficult to manage healthy blood sugar. So insulin resistance goes up, meaning fat storage goes up, and fat distribution shifts more to the abdomen. Visceral fat is the metabolically active fat. So this is going to be that much more problematic than just our subcutaneous fat that's right under our skin that we can hold on to. So definitely something to consider. Mitochondrial efficiency as we get older and estrogen goes down. This is something that, again, you want to make sure that you're optimizing this. And there are many methods for that. Again, we talk about this and we will in our reset challenge. And recovery, of course. So it doesn't mean that fat loss is impossible. It's just there's more margin for error as we get older. We just have to make sure that we're looking at the full picture. Now, the 6th topic is metabolism so adaptive metabolism from chronic dieting. This is a huge one that I find many women I work with who have been down the rabbit hole of all the things when it comes to dieting, the HCG diet, Ozempic, the just anything restrictive. Every single time we cut calories and we put our body in that stress mode, every single time we slow metabolism down just a bit. And then every time we try again, it's going to require much more time, much more diligence. And that's something that most women do not want to take the long road to get there, knowing that this is going to be the best road because it's going to be the maintainable road. But yet we still always fall into this. I want to get it done quick. So then what do? We drop our calories. And then, initially we see results. And then eventually here we are again. We've plateaued. We've gained the weight back. We're miserable. Mental state is shit. And then it's like a vicious cycle over and over. So if you're watching this and that resonates with you, make this the last time you do it. Do not decide this is the first thing I'm going to do is drop my calories. Do not go that route. That's not what we're doing. If you want to have long-term success, that is the first thing not to do. Okay. So with this, if you've dieted for years, if you've done the repeated deficit, if you've lost significant weight and gained it all back, again, that's what we're talking about. And, your NEAT, your non-exercise activity thermogenesis, this is something to where, like, I'm usually someone who's tapping my toes and I'm moving. So that is all burning calories. And some people have more of that than others. And so I feel like those things too, in general, if our body gets used to that, then we can't rely on that for fat burning anymore. So reduced thyroid output, increased metabolic efficiency. So again, we need to reverse diet, restore the metabolism, and then cut again, but in a very slow, strategic manner. And then we have the last one being sleep, quality. Okay. So this increases ghrelin, our hunger hormone, reduces insulin sensitivity, raises cortisol, and it impairs fat oxidation. So again, this is not something to where, oh my gosh, I need to fix some of these things, all hope is lost. It's not. It's just we need to stop doing the wrong things and prioritizing them and shift it around and put that at the bottom of the list and let's start at the top. Okay. So, again, thank you guys for hopping on, watching this. Hopefully, it was helpful. Drop your comments in the comments and we will talk soon.